And welcome to the Let's Eat Grandma Career Warrior podcast, where our goal is not only to help you land your dream job, but to help you live your best life. I am so excited to announce our brand new More Energy at Work series, which is actually going to be launching this Monday. It's going to be a 4-part series on how to improve energy levels, incorporating your mental, physical, and spiritual health. Yes, guys and girls, we're going deep. We're going to be covering nutrition, exercise, sleep, and spiritual health, which all play major factors in the way that we feel and perform. But first, let me tell you why this is so important. Because, guys, I believe this stuff so much. The way we feel, the actual energy that we bring on a daily basis can get somebody a better job, perform better at work, or even prevent them from getting fired, because the energy you bring and how much you feel is everything. This is the epitome of a career warrior. Someone who brings their best, not being that 9-to-5 worker zombie that just feels like crap when working all the time. And to illustrate this point, I'm going to read one of my favorite excerpts from The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. This is habit number 7, where he speaks about sharpening the saw. Suppose you were to come upon someone in the woods working feverishly to saw down a tree. What are you doing, you ask? Can't you see? Comes the impatient reply. I'm sawing down this tree. You look exhausted, you exclaim. How long have you been at it? Over 5 hours, he returns. And I'm beat. This is hard work. Well, why don't you just take a break for a few minutes and sharpen that saw, you inquire. I'm sure it would go a lot faster. I don't have time to sharpen the saw, the man says emphatically. I'm too busy sawing. This allegory or moral tale says something so important here. It's that a lot of us are so busy in trying to accomplish the things that we're trying to accomplish and being productive when we can't even take the time to protect our own physical assets, which is ourself. It's the most valuable thing we have, is this sense of self and the energy we bring and who we are as a professional. And oftentimes we really aren't taking time to sharpen the saw, so to speak, protect our mental energy, our physical energy, our spiritual strength, all these things that actually generate the success that we're trying to generate on a daily basis. And when we let that saw start to dull, it just becomes so much harder and it takes so much longer to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. This topic is really important to me, and I do have a really strong personal connection to this, and I've had moments at work where I just don't want to do anything, moments when I don't feel like getting my job done, contrasted with those moments where I feel on top of the world, and it's not just because of that cup of coffee I had, but because everything has fallen into the right place. I'm eating right, I'm working out, I am living on a schedule that doesn't stress me out and doesn't create this anxiety while I'm at work. And it's like night and day, guys. So I've come to this realization over the last few years that the energy you bring is the number one priority. And so it really blew my mind that we didn't have a podcast on energy, because really when it comes down to it, it's the foundation. We talk about things on this podcast like how to go out there and network and how to attend events. We talk about things like how to ask for a promotion, like we're going to have in our next week's episode. But how possibly can we be able to bring our best selves if we're feeling like a 3 out of 10 when we're talking to the person we need to get a promotion from? You know what I mean? So this is something that we're going to be covering over the next 4 weeks in this podcast series. And I just think it's going to be incredibly useful for every single person who does want to improve themselves in this way. Here are the subtopics. And if you have any questions, now is really the time to cash in and ask now. Shoot me a message on LinkedIn, and I would love to see if I can do some more research for you if any of these topics appeal to you. We're going to be covering in part 1, nutrition. So what are the types of things we need to be cutting out from our diet? Some things we need to be entering in our diet to make ourselves feel good, be less depressed, be less anxious, and more excited to be at work. In part 2, we're going to be covering exercise and movement. So how to actually get our bodies moving the way they were intended to move so that our brains can function properly. 3, we're going to cover sleep, blue light, and social media, how to curb those habits and how to get good sleep at night. In part 4, we're diving deep. We're going to be talking about our spirituality and Zen a little bit, finding deeper connection to the things that really matter and actually getting some meditation in there so that way we can feel more productive and be more productive. So these 4 episodes I am ecstatic to cover. I'm not by any means the expert in any one of these fields. I've never postured myself as the expert. I've always postured myself as the guinea pig, someone who actually goes out and does the research and learns from the experts. So that's what I'm going to be doing when I'm covering these 4 episodes, is going in deep and finding the best knowledge I possibly can to apply this to your work life. And this is something I'm really excited to do. Okay, so this is a 4-part series, and there's going to be a serious challenge and ask of you, because I'm not just doing this so you can listen to me on your commute and just be like inspired and be just entertained, like, oh, this is going to be great. No, I'm doing this to change your life, and you're listening to this hopefully so you can change your own life. So I'm going to put out a challenge here and a call to action for all of you listeners here. So I'm going to ask everyone to start a simple journal on the way you feel on a daily basis. So in this journal, you're going to write how you're feeling at work. So we're going to create a little diary here for the next month or so. And in that diary, you're going to track this specific metric. Okay? How you feel on a scale of 1 to 10. I know, very scientific, right? But I thought about this very, very closely, and with something that's as hard to quantify as the way we feel, I think the 10-point scale has done a really good trick. And I've actually used this before in the past, and I've been able to really track my results and how I've been able to feel. So don't let yourself slack on this. This is something that's going to be really useful for you. So if you're somebody who works really well in Google Calendars, what I might recommend is creating a recurring event for every single morning. And within that event, in the notes, you can start to track how you feel on every single day. If you're a spreadsheets guy, create a spreadsheet, and for every row, you can put how you feel on a scale of 1 to 10. If you're an old school journal type of guy or girl, I might recommend including this in a physical journal that you have an entry with. Sometimes it's nice to get that pen on paper. Okay, so you're going to write how you feel on a scale of 1 to 10. And the goal by the end of the 4 weeks, by the end of this challenge here, is to raise yourself 5 points on the energy scale. So if you're feeling like a mediocre 4 out of 10 when you're coming into work every day, by the end of this month, you should feel 9 out of 10. If you're feeling like an absolute sack of crap that was lit on fire on a scale of 1 to 10, you're a 2. Then by the end of this trial period, you should feel like you are a 7 out of 10. So pretty darn good. This is the goal, and this is how I hope to hopefully change your life, by showing you how the principles of taking good care of yourself can actually change. And I'll be honest right now, I have not been fully at it yet, and I'm currently about a 6 out of 10. So as I record this podcast today, this is how I feel. I'm about a 6. So by the end of the month, I should be an 11 out of 10. I don't know, but I'm going to be ecstatic by the end of this. So this is my call to action to you, is to really bring a sense of awareness in all of these different fields or areas here. And I truly, truly want you to feel a lot better after these 4 weeks have gone by. If you're listening to this in the way future, take the time to listen to these episodes one by one, week over week, because these things are really hard to soak up within an entire week. So that's why I've spread it out over the course of 4 different weeks. For instance, week 1, focus most on nutrition and getting that diet dialed down. And week 2, focus on more of the energy that comes from exercise and movement, that kind of stuff. I am just absolutely ecstatic to be discussing these things with you. I believe out of all the episodes we've done, these next 4 episodes have to be within the top 10 on game changers that can truly change your job search, change your career, because I can't say this enough. I'm beating a dead horse here, but your energy is everything. And I'm not praying to it like the holy God of energy here. No, I'm not saying that this is the only answer, that this is the ultimate thing here. Sometimes you have to feel like crap and still be productive. But if we're trying to play the long-term game here, which I hope all of you are, then this is really going to be an awesome game changer for you. Without further ado, I'm going to conclude this episode here. Just can't wait to hear everyone's results here. Make sure to get that diary out and to start it now. Don't procrastinate, and get ready for Monday's episode, which is going to be on nutrition. And the following 3 Mondays after that, we're going to have our other episodes. All right, everyone, that concludes the Career Warrior Podcast episode, and I'll see you next week.